What's up, y'all? Thanks for stopping by the obviously authentic channel. My name's Leah. That's spelled L-E-A and not L-E-A-H. And you know what, you guys? I want to do videos about Real Housewives of Potomac. I debated on whether or not to do these videos, mainly because I'm on fall break, thank God on high, because my brain need a break from school right now. My emotions, everything needs a break from school right now. But I do want to say thank you to all 137 of y'all who've been rocking with me. We close to 200, but we not there yet. But I'm still appreciative for all of y'all. Thank y'all so much. At first I just was like, is anybody gonna look at this? Because I don't even have 200 subscribers. And then I was just kind of like, and if they don't, you want to do it, so just do it. And so I was like laying in bed, and then I saw the the reunion looks. So I'm thinking about doing 3 videos. One about my takes on the fandom and the toxicity that is in Real Housewives of Potomac. Then one on the ladies and, just them in general, of how I've been, like, since I've missed, I think, of like 4 or 5 episodes. And then my pre-reunion thoughts. So yeah, those are the 3 videos I'm planning on doing. But this video is about the toxicity in this fandom. So let's get to it. Why are y'all so toxic as it pertains to Real Housewives of Potomac? Why? Let me scooch a little closer so we can have a come to Jesus. Again, why the toxicity? Why are we toxic when it comes to this show? I'm just wondering. I guess my brain is kind of like, this is gonna be a ramble / rant. Well, really not really a rant. I would say a ramble because I'm not mad or anything. It's just, my brain is just kind of like, why? Like, I'm intrigued as to why. Honestly, because of the progression of where we started in 2016 when this series aired to where we are now in 2021. So that's how we're going to fashion this video. So in 2016, season 1 premiered. And I remembered everyone being excited about Real Housewives of Potomac because we finally got another all-black Real Housewives, franchise. Because by this time, the only franchise that was really, the only franchise we had was Real Housewives of Atlanta. And people were feeling like Real Housewives of Atlanta had gotten stale and it was falling off. And people are also kind of upset that, like, since Real Housewives had been syndicated, we didn't have any other black shows. So, all we had was Real Housewives of Atlanta. But then you also had New York, you had Beverly Hills, OC, and New Jersey. And people were like, how come there are 4 predominantly white shows and then we only got 1 black show? So people were excited. Like, everybody was excited. They were like, oh my God, they're going to be in DC, like the Chocolate City. It's going to be good. When they posted the cast photos, all I remember being on Twitter is people saying, who are these white women? Like, who are these white women? And I remember screaming. And, I understood where people had their gripes because it was like the shift happened where people were so excited for Real Housewives of Potomac. It shifted to, colorism is everywhere. Brown paper bag test. All of them can pass it. And if you don't know what that is, it has direct ties to colorism. So definitely, I know there's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, but Google is your friend, so Google it. But everybody was upset about that. And I remember being like, well, let's give it a chance. We don't know yet. And then the first episode aired and people were like, colorism, classism, And I was like, well, some of y'all not wrong. But yeah, because when it first premiered, we had the Grand Dame who kept referring to Ray as the Black Bill Gates. And I was like, ma'am, that is not the compliment you think it is. It's kind of derogatory because you're basically saying that your husband doesn't, he's not his own person. Ray didn't amass all his wealth like, you're kind of diminishing him amassing this wealth by saying he's someone else, you know, like he's the other counterpart to someone else. And then Karen had this very like manners and etiquette way when it's like, sis, your wigs are crunchy, like calm down. Then you had the two mixed chicks, Ashley, who was like annoying and very like rude and nasty to Charisse, who was the only visibly black woman on there, and she was just a lot. But people thought she was cute, so she got away with it. Then you got Katie, who Katie couldn't figure out what the hell she wanted to be. She didn't know if she wanted to be black. She didn't know if she wanted to be white. All I know is Katie wanted to be Jewish. If she could, she would have picked being Jewish, because she was so like fixated on her Jewish boyfriend marrying her. It was a bit much. Not a bit much. It was too much. So it was a lot. And then you have the green-eyed bandits, Giselle and Robin, and then coming to find out that Giselle was an AKA, the people were upset. Let me fix my chair. Ooh. People were just upset. Like, people had so many gripes because I think everybody had all these high expectations of where they thought the franchise was going to go, comparing it to Real Housewives of Atlanta. So season 1 was okay. It was dry, but it was still somewhat enjoyable. Then we get to season 2, and that's when Monique is introduced, and everyone's excited because they're like, oh my God, another brown-skinned girl. So Charisse wouldn't be alone. And she was introduced as Charisse's friend, so everybody was excited. But then people were so ready to say, oh, Giselle doesn't like Monique because she's brown-skinned and has more money than her, and all this stuff. So colorism. So people were more amped to be like, yes, that is colorism. Excuse me, y'all. Because it was pertaining to Monique. And Katie was gone. Then we get to season 6. Candace is introduced. And then Charisse is demoted. But everybody is feeling Candace because she's not backing down. And she's the cute little dark-skinned, brown-skinned girl. And she's getting with Ashley. And she's getting with the green-eyed bandits. She getting with everybody. So everybody like her. Then we switched to season 4, and it was like I remember people were adamantly doing reviews and on Twitter saying they wanted to be Candace and Monique taking down the green-eyed bandits. So it was like brown girls versus the light-skinned girls. So like, I'm like, y'all, that plays into colorism too as well, but it's not colorism. But there's no colorism. But yeah, we are adamantly on Twitter saying we want Giselle and Robin, excuse me, the women who are visibly light-skinned with green eyes, to go against the two brown girls who is, like, some people consider Candace dark-skinned. So the dark-skinned Candace and brown-skinned Monique. Then we flash forward to season 5, and it's Candace versus Monique. But, like, now if Candace does anything against Monique, she deserves to get her ass beat. Or if Candace speaks up, she deserves to get her ass beat. Or if Candace tries to defend herself, she deserves to get her ass beat. And now we're here, and it's like, Ashley can do whatever and say whatever, but the moment Candace comes at her, or even Mia, it's an issue. She's just the worst person, and she deserves to get her ass beat. And it's kind of like, y'all were so amped in season 1 to say colorism, but it's only colorism when it's pertaining to someone that you like. If it's someone you don't like, it's not colorism, and they can just shut up and take what's been given to them. In my opinion, that is what I'm seeing. I just think it's wild, and it sucks because I'm starting to push Real Housewives of Potomac in the box like I did RuPaul's Drag Race. I started watching RuPaul's Drag Race when I was really young. Like really young. I remember like we were down at my cousin's in South Carolina, and they had like a really good cable package. And this is during when Logo TV was still around, and they were doing a marathon because I think the next week they were crowning the winner. And I was like sitting in my cousin's room and I just got enthralled by the show because I like competition shows, especially when it pertains to people like working with their hands. And I was just so interested watching these men transform into drag queens. I was just like, wow, like makeup game, padding. I was so into it. And I remember I loved watching reviews about it, especially from people who were in the community, because they were always dropping like gems like, oh, she's a part of this family and that family don't play around, or oh, yo, she be dancing, oh, I used to dance, this is how you pad, this is how you tuck, all that stuff. Like, that was cool to me because I'm not a part of the community and I don't know those things. So chair went down. I'm not a part of the community, so I don't know those things. So it was just interesting to me to learn those things. But then it just got dark. I stopped really wanting to watch when it hit season 12, and it was the height of the quarantine, and what's it called? Britta was a bitch. Like, we just gonna call, like, that dude, that queen was, but the amount of hatred she got, I was not okay with. Like, I felt so bad for her. Because it's like, we know the archetypes. If you have been watching Real Housewives, if you have been watching RuPaul's Drag Race since season 1, there's always a villain. There's always a sassy black queen. There's always a big black queen who's sassy. There's always like a skinny white queen who just started drag. Then there's like an old queen. There's a bitchy queen. It's like, there's a campy queen. It's like, we know the archetypes that are set in stone. Plus, people are always complaining about Drag Race being boring when there's no drama. And it was just kind of like, it was off-putting and very, like, I really felt bad for Britta. Because yes, like I said, the way he portrayed himself on the competition, he did not do himself any favors. But to see him post information, like, he would post screenshots of people in his community telling him to kill himself. And I'm like, girl, it's the quarantine. We don't know if the zombie apocalypse is upon us. Like, how dare you tell somebody to take their own life because you're mad about how they acted on a competition show? Can you have an opinion of that person? Yes, they're on national television for you to watch and to judge and critique. But to take it upon yourself to be that nasty and that mean to where you are jeopardizing someone's mental health and their jobs, because I remember people posting videos and on Twitter talking about people who don't like a queen would go to her show and like heckle them. And I'm like, for some people, drag was like their way of living. So now you're messing with how people make their money. Like, when they were making tips, I was like, that's wrong. That's wrong. Like, that's wrong. So when it got that way, because honestly, what really turned me off was what happened to Britta. But the fact that, like, I knew if the queen was black and she was not perfect, like, she was not giving looks every week, and she wasn't like sucked in, like she wasn't giving it to us, or she wasn't a lip sync assassin, like, the fandom was gonna drag her. The fandom was gonna drag the out of her. They were gonna go on that person's Twitter, their Instagram. They were gonna show up at the shows, Facebook, and that, to me, that's when I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that with y'all. Because I was really did I like Britta? No, but I would never take it upon myself to go harass somebody in their comments to the point where he had to deactivate all his social media. That's how bad y'all were coming at this man. Off of a TV personality where y'all honestly begged for people to be catty and be bitchy, and he gave us that, and because it was going against y'all faves, all of a sudden he deserves death. Wow. Chill out. And I feel like that is where RHOP is going for me, because I don't even really watch a Drag Race anymore. I'm still like subscribed to like the IG page, and that's mainly because I like looking at the pictures of the queens, because I like I said, I like competition shows, shows like Project Runway, cupcake wars or cake wars. I like watching people create stuff. So like for me, I still want to watch like and see what the ladies come up with. But I was just like, yeah, I don't need to be a part of this anymore. And I feel like that is where Real Housewives of Potomac is heading, y'all. It's heading there. It's just like, y'all are getting dark. Y'all were already dark in season 5, but y'all are getting dark. And it's just wild. It's wild because it's like, y'all don't want Candace to be there, but if Candace wasn't there, I don't think this show would be as good as it is. Unfortunately, the show didn't start picking up steam until she got assaulted. Like, we just gonna call a thing. And I'm starting to feel like people are creating YouTube channels just to drag and trash one specific cast member, or like a few, like either Candace, Giselle, or Robin are getting dragged. And I feel like some of these people who are doing reviews, that's not even really their opinion. It's just that they know the group think don't like Candace, Giselle, or Robin. So if I drag the hell out of these 3 ladies, I'm gonna get clicks and views. And I just kind of think that's messed up, if I'm really being honest. Like, do I really stand anybody on this show? No, but I do like Candace. I like Ascala. I can take or leave Karen or anybody else, but those 2 I kind of dig, like I like. But I just feel like people take it to a dark level. Like, I think the part that's weird to me is like the people who go specifically on someone's page that you say you do not like, who you don't want to be on the show, who you like, there's supposedly there are people are creating petitions to get Candace off the show, and you go on their live and harass her. Like, she at home with her husband chilling and talking to her supporters on her live, but you don't really think about how you have to physically, type in that lady's name to hop into her live that you're not subscribed to troll and harass her. You look goofy, bruh. Like, you really do. And when I say bruh, that's for everybody, male, female, and any of the genders between. Like, you look goofy. And it's like, that is the part that is dark to me, is that we have gotten to that level. And a lot of the people who are doing that are not teenagers. It's not anybody in their 20s. It's grown ass adults who are like 30 and 40. Like, people who should be trying to figure out their 401ks and writing their wills and medical plans. I don't know, because I'm not that old. So yeah, it sucks, because I think what really prompted me to do this video, mainly like I said, I had thoughts about it, but seeing YouTubers that I like who like to review the show, thinking about stopping, like not reviewing it anymore. And if they do review it, they're gonna put it on monetary platforms. And it sucks for people who don't have the extra funds to allot to them, but I understand protecting your mental peace. Like, if taking your ideas and thoughts to a platform where people have to pay for it, it gives you solace and peace, then by all means, do what the hell you got to do, in my opinion. It sucks that people have gotten to this point. Like, when it gets to the point where you're actively harassing someone because of your fave that's not on the series, you look goofy. You're goofy. You're a clown, and you're stupid, and you need to go outside. You need to step back from the series, step back from social media, and really like take a walk outside and breathe. Because many of people who do these types of things, I'm like, what would you do if you were in that person's shoes? And I know not everybody thinks about that, and people are like, oh, this is her karma and whatever. But to me, and that's the thing, that's why I don't use like, oh, this is someone's karma, because karma is cyclical. It's in a circle. Like, there's good karma, there's bad karma. I always think about it in the sense of like the negative stuff you put out in the atmosphere. And in the sense of like, whoever you pray to, Leah believes in the good Lord up above. But like, whoever you believe in, or your spirituality and all of that stuff, I always think like, if you are spewing this much negativity to someone that you don't even know, and it's just out in the atmosphere, why do you think good things will come to you? Why don't you think that stuff will affect like negatively on your offspring or anything? And I know maybe people don't think about it that deep, but I do, because it's like some of y'all say really nasty things to these women on this franchise, especially as it pertains to Giselle, Robin, and Candace. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying none of them are like saints. I'm not saying that. Some of them like have like all of them, everybody on the cast has their faults. Everybody on the cast has their faults. They're humans. Nobody is perfect. But I think the aggression that people give them is a bit much. Also, it's the whole context of like colorism for me. Like, y'all don't want to believe that it's colorism, but it is, to be honest. Like, Ashley has been an evil she-devil since she stepped on the scene in season 1. But Ashley gets a pass because she has kids. Lies. Just because you popped out 2 kids does not deem you a saint or holier than thou. No. But y'all can't give Candace that grace. I saw someone who wished that Candace would be barren. And I'm like, how dare you wish that on somebody when you don't know what kind of mental effects that has on somebody? There are plenty of people who out here who want to have children of their own, who can't have them, who have self-worth issues because they're not able to do what they feel like their body is supposed to be able to do. And for you to wish that on somebody, you are a horrible person. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. To wish that on somebody is horrible. It really is. And it's that type of venom and toxicity that I'm saying. Because even when it pertains to Real Housewives of Atlanta, yes, there's toxicity. People always be coming at Kenya, and I'm not even on Team Twirl or a Kenya fan. But I feel like there's slightly a more of a balance over there than it pertains to here. Like, y'all be taking it to a dark ass level when it comes to Real Housewives of Potomac. And it sucks because it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be a show that we can all just, enjoy, have debates and discussion about. But like at the end of the day, these people are real people. They're not like, if you don't like Candace, you don't like Candace. If you don't like Mia, if you don't like Ascala, if you don't like none of these people, that's fine. I'm not telling you to like these people, but what I am saying is you don't have the right to degrade or demean anybody when they have not done that to you. And that's why I'm saying, like, it's just toxic. And it sucks because I honestly think what is happening is what happened for me and for other people when it comes to Real Housewives, but to Drag Race. A lot of the people who have been watching the series since season 1 have fallen off because of the new kids on the block. And that's where I think the toxicity came, because yes, it was somewhat like inching its way through in season 4, but I feel like if we could have had like a shift to season 5, if season 5 would have never happened with the assault on Candace, and it was just them like arguing back and forth, it wouldn't be as bad as it is now. And I realized that, to me, I think most of the toxicity is coming from people who just hopped on the scene. People who just wanted to, like, who just started watching in season 5 because they wanted to see a fight. And I'm guilty of that too. I've watched series where I'm like, I just want to see why this person and this person threw hands. But I've never had an opinion the way y'all do. So it's kind of like your opinion doesn't matter because you ain't been here since season 1. That's just my thing. I don't know. I just wish that y'all would chill out. Genuinely chill out. Like, really, like, step back and reevaluate how you're acting as it pertains to a show. Like, legit. Really. Because if you want to support someone, supporting them would be going to their podcast or buying their album or watching the show that they're acting on or helping them with their endorsements or their makeup line or things of that nature. Supporting them where you're just spewing hateful messages towards another cast member, that does nothing for the people that you're trying to go up for. It really doesn't. And if you are doing that, you're goofy. Know that. You're goofy as hell. And you need to seek help and go to therapy, because you should not be that invested in a series where you take out your ill feelings on someone you don't even know, that if you saw them in person, you wouldn't even have the balls to come up to them. And even if you did come up to them, you probably only coming up to them to take a picture. Let's call a spade a spade. You only coming up to them to take a picture and say you saw them, even if you hate them. So yeah, y'all, that is it. That's all. If I keep talking, it's gonna be a ramble. But remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.